Welcome back to Briggs on Books, a truly international talk show where we talk to authors, publishers, editors, people who help you get your book published. If you don't have your book published yet, keep watching because we're going to talk to people who've done it, who've gone through this process and got their book published. To that end, our next guest is Danielle Spencer. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
And by the way, congratulations. Like I was saying, anybody can write a book, but few can finish writing, put that pencil down, and go through this other process of getting it published, and you've done it, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, your book is Digital Assassins. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Sure. It is a fictional story, meaning the characters are fictional, the conversations are fictional, but it's based on my true life experience as a whistleblower against the federal government.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Now, so this is it kind of your story, but it's all fictional, or?
No, it's all my story. So all of the events that I document in the book, for example, when I went to see an attorney and we were discussing, my case, the merits of my case, and the microphone on my phone turns on. And the attorney looks at it and it was like, wait a minute, there's a problem here. So those type of events that happened after I became a whistleblower are what I document in the book. What I blew the whistle on, I tell everybody, it's so boring, it would put you to sleep. They're basically, it was nothing salacious, like caught somebody embezzling money. It was basically things such as policy disputes, how I interpreted policy as opposed to someone else, or me believing that when Congress or some other oversight body came and asked questions and the responses that were given I didn't agree with because, in my opinion, they weren't the truth. So that was those type of things that I blew the whistle on. And to me, it didn't warrant the response that I got. But after, blowing the whistle, the retaliation just became increasingly worse over the years. So this would be like the 7th year that I've been going through dealing with the retaliation of being a whistleblower.
So interesting, you're meeting with your lawyer and the microphone in your phone clicks on as if somebody's listening?
Yes, it turns on, and it at the time I had an Android-based phone. I won't say the name, but because I had the phone for a few years, I had never experienced that before. With a green microphone picture that showed up that said, voices not recognized. And so after that first instance, I noticed when I went to other people and I spoke with them, it could be someone I didn't speak to on a regular, the same event would occur. The microphone would turn on and it would say voices not recognized. So I learned to not take my cell phone with me when I went to meet people.
Now, I have been talking to people with my phone present, and one case we were talking about, I'm thinking of buying a mattress. Where do you go? Where do you get yours? Order this and that and the other. Then my phone, it was just sitting there. Then I started getting these mattress ads on all my streams and stuff like that. So there's someone listening, I think.
Yes.
Now,
but there's, especially if you have like I would say a iPhone-based Siri will sometimes come on and try to look. So it was nothing like that. It was a completely weird and odd experience that I had never happened, never occurred before.
Now, can you tell us anything about the case or your case? And is the book, you said it's fiction, but is it about your specific case, or is it something less, like you said, less boring?
It's a lot less boring, because it's the events that occurred to me after becoming a whistleblower. And my story will be broken up into 2 books. Okay. This book deals mostly with those events. For example, like I said about the phone turning on. There's another example in there about a friend of mine in the book applying for a home equity line of credit, and they had to find a way to deny it to her because they were scared that she was giving me money for the case. And they came up with all of these false liens and judgments and that belonged to other people and put that and said they belonged to her. Right. That was based on a true event. Well, it wasn't a friend, it was my parents. So it's all of these various different types of things, events like that. There was another instance, I'll give you another instance, where the friend in the book got this fabricated ticket where she got in the mail that she failed to stop for a school bus. But she knew the ticket was fabricated both by the pictures that they used to give her the ticket, and at the same time she was at the doctor's office having a procedure. So she's like, there's no way I could be in both places at one time because I was in the doctor's office having this procedure. At the same time, you're saying I'm failing to stop for a school bus. And like I said, the event is true, but instead of it happening to a friend of mine, it happened to my parents. So the events actually happened. I just use fictional characters to tell what has happened after becoming a whistleblower.
And those are the digital assassins, things people can do digitally to manipulate things and kind of bring you down. That's your retaliation.
Yes. It talks about, gives people a eye into the world of how technology can be used against us.
Yeah.
I've been in IT for almost 25 years. And I think with most people, at least this has been my experience, most of us are not criminals.
Right.
So we don't think like a criminal would. And so when these events started occurring, it was I want to say I went through a good period, almost 6 years, of just complete disbelief. Like, I don't believe this is happening, that people are using technology in ways that they shouldn't, and especially against a U.S. citizen.
Right.
So it was, I want to say, amazing journey to me. And I felt that I needed to document it and share it with the world, especially with two things that I learned. Our current laws and the policies don't protect American citizens. And with technology getting advancing, and especially with AI here, we don't have to think about, well, in the future, no, AI is here. That people need to understand how technology can be used, and that we need to start, making our voices heard, that laws need to be changed and updated, and so do policies.
Now, were you working in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Because you live kind of close to there?
I work here in the D.C. area.
Yeah. And you said you're in Maryland. Is that D.C.'s right there? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the DMV, as we call it, D.C.'s in the center. You have Maryland on one side, to the north, and then you have Virginia to the south, but we're all very close. And then, where I live, it might be 10, 15 miles away from the District of Columbia, that DC line. So we're all like very close in that area.
I'm very excited to read this book because I love, I was mentioning before, Maryland, do you remember Spiro Agnew, the governor? And so I love to study government and government intrigue, and especially things that are really happening. But I'm also very worried about this technology thing. Like you're saying, we're not protected.
The laws, for example, like if someone says something false or does something falsely or fraudulently through email or text messages, the laws aren't as stringent as if they sent it to you via postal mail. One of the things I've started doing, having conversations, I'm going around the country meeting with people and I'm talking, that if someone sends you a request and it doesn't seem quite right, make them send it to you via postal mail, because you have more rights because it's postal. U.S. mail, the postal mail. Also, with a lot of organizations, government included, they're becoming more environmentally conscious. And I said, that's great and all. However, what my experience has shown is that electronic records can be manipulated. And one of the things that I show people, where I got an email from a FOIA request, and it appears, I won't say definitely, but it appears that the email had been altered. And one of the biggest tells was that the conversation with the person responding, they responded, like I said, 9 o'clock in the morning, but the email to which they were responding was 10 o'clock. And I'm like, people in the same time zone, you can't respond to an email before it was sent to you. Right. And I said, if a government agency would send me something like this that appears to have been altered, think of bad actors just in private industry. If they say, most people don't keep files longer than a year. In 2 years from now, take 10% of our population, send them a bill that they've already paid. And with them not keeping paper records and a lot of us not keeping paper records, how are you going to fight that?
Right.
Especially if the laws are not updated and changed to reflect that most things are going to electronic storage. So there are a lot of things that kind of impact us now that like I said, I've been in IT almost 25 years. I never would have thought it.
Right.
But
you don't think like a criminal.
yes. And so that's what I'm learning. I'm like, wow, there are a lot of potential pitfalls here, and that things need to change so that consumers are protected.
I ask every author this. I think I know the answer to yours. Who should be reading this book? It sounds like everybody should read it, because it's not just about the whistleblower, but it's how technology and how it's affecting our life. Digital assassins could be out there.
Yes.
So,
and you don't have to be a whistleblower.
Right.
You could be someone who could just have gotten on the wrong side of someone for any reason.
Yep.
Could be jealousy. It could be a domestic situation.
Right.
There, any type of situation, if that person has any knowledge, any technical knowledge, they can use technology against you.
Yep.
And one of the things that in my talks that I talk about, how technology can be used to interfere in the tax administration process, and learning how, because of sovereign immunity, and there's a tax anti-injunction law, how you could be set up to be liable for a tax that's not yours,
right,
and you can't stop, use the civil court system because of that doctrine and that law to stop it. Like, your only recourse would be to pay the debt and then try to get a refund. And I'm like, there have been court cases out there that fight that, but there hasn't been a lot of talk about it. And, based on my research, these people were not whistleblowers. So that, to me, further confirms that technology can be used against anybody. So people need to know and understand, so they can catch when something like this happens to them.
Hey, Danielle, what would I have your web address on the screen, daniellespencer.org. What would our viewers find there?
They would find a little bit of information about me, a little bit of information about the book. They would also find, I have a POC list. These are lists of organizations that, let's say you believe that you were the victim of insurance fraud, who I found to be helpful. If you believe your privacy has been violated, if you feel that something has happened with your tax records, also gives you a list of those people to contact. I talk a little bit about like some of the questions that I've gotten from people. Nice. About things that happen in the book, providing a response. And you also find links to my other social media, like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, that type of information.
Great. We also have your Instagram on the screen. People can find Danielle at Danielle Spencer 3647. But go check out her website. Can they order the book on the website, or do they need to go to Amazon or something like that to get the book?
You can't get it from my website, but you can get it from, like I said, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Thrift Books, so almost any online book retailer.
Nice. Well, I'm going to go check out your website, because it sounds like it's a resource for people who might get hit by that kind of thing. Danielle, I could talk to you all day about this. This is just fascinating, but we're out of time. But is there any last thoughts for our viewers? Anything you want them to know about you or the book?
Read it to get information. However, please feel free to reach out. I've had a couple of good people reach out. They have questions. When I have time, and I try to make time at least once a week, I'm here to answer questions, because that's my goal, is to educate. I want to educate as many people as possible.
Yeah, I think we're going to find there's things going on out there we have no idea about, and sounds like your book could be a good start to understand that in this day and age. Like I was saying, sounds like everybody should read this book. So thank you, Danielle. Thanks for being brave and doing what you did, whistleblower, and putting the book out.
Okay.
And we will be back with more Briggs on Books right after this. Don't touch that mouse, because we'll be right back.